No, this
तो
is
उसमें yeah, it has started now again. Thank you very much, sir.
no, no, not at all, not at all. Basically, our tech. This is now done. Everything is okay.
Yes, sir. Everything is prim and proper now. Please proceed.
Okay. So now up to this point, we have done smarter. That means specific, measurable, and meaningful, attainable and achievable, realistic. Then time bound, evaluable. It should be evaluable means it should be evaluable means it can be accessible. You can evaluate whether the objectives or the lesson plan was up to the mark or not. We move on to the next one is K Kase. This is very much a beautiful part of this lesson plan, and basically this is what you call the backbone of teaching, the education, right from class nursery up to class 12 and beyond that also. These may be behavioral objectives, knowledgeable objectives, skills, and anything. So KKSA is basically the short form or abbreviation of Bloom's taxonomy, which we use in almost all the things. K for knowledge, that is, in general, we utilize the word define, list, recognize, simple things. Then C is for comprehension, which means characterize, describe, explain, identify, locate, sort, and anything like that. Means depending upon what type of lesson we have to have. Next is application. That means what kind of question or what kind of objective it is. Today, in this session, we will be able to select particular endpoint, demonstrate, implement, perform. Then the next three is analysis. Analysis is basically breaking down all the components of a substance. In this case, it will be the lesson plan. All the components of the lesson plan, breaking down into them into different aspects and then analyze, categorize, compare, differentiate. Again, we reconstruct the lesson plan, which means we again put up all the components together, construct, design, formulate, organize. And the last part is evaluate, which means evaluation. Whether we are able to evaluate, whether we are able to, in the end rather, if we have a particular scale of evaluation, on a 10-point scale, 5-point scale, generally we have got the rubric system for evaluation. When I go as a supervisor into any of the class of any teacher of any standard of any subject, I have got a rubric scale with me. With that rubric scale, we generally evaluate what exactly is done. And then out of 10, these are the different aspects on which I will be evaluating. And the end point is whether I have done it perfectly or not. And whatever the shortcomings, those shortcomings are basically feeded back to the lesson planner, which means the teacher. This part is also called what you call reflection. Now, in this is quick revision of whatsoever we have studied. Say, for example, I'm in the general way. There are my friends from South India who are very fond of what you call dosa. So today the objective of this lesson plan is, you see, by when, subject, observable action, precision, conditions, resources, and then constraints, that is limits. By the end of this lesson, the learner will be able to cook a well done dosa, the favorite dish of Dr. Jayalakshmi. Condition is on the gas stove. Resource is using oil and frying pan. And the constraint is the time limit, that is 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, how much I can do, what I can do. Say, for example, this is just a lesson plan because I have to explain it. That's why it is. Otherwise, this time limit is particularly applicable when a teacher is delivering a lesson in those 38 minutes, 36 minutes, or something like that. If it is clear to everybody, you can raise your thumb and we move further. Now, these are different type of objective oriented tasks. I have given you certain examples. For example, in mathematics, and I believe so, there are a number of teachers who are from GEG South West or GEG Delhi. That is Google Educators Group. After a lesson on Pythagorean theorem, the student will be able to correctly solve at least 8 out of 10 geometrical problems using the theorem. You see, every component of objective, what we earlier discussed, are there. Next is, for example, this is for the biology teachers or science teachers. After the lesson, the student will be able to identify different parts of digestive system shown individually by marking them in the digestive tract. Now, this digestive tract can be drawn on a blackboard or chalkboard, or they can be given as a worksheet also. They are generally given in the board paper also. They are also given as a diagram. And in the written part, it is mark the digestive tract with particular organs. Number 1, esophagus. Number 2, stomach. Number 3, large intestine. Number 4, small intestine. And on the same track, we will be keeping on moving like this. Now, for example, as a graphic organizer, we will be able to go for this thing. The student will be able to categorize different type of animals into correct classes by using using graphic organizers, which means we have to give the traits. The animal lives on the earth as well as in the water. So this type is like all the components of the objectives are there. Next, we move on to the instructional mode. And this is very much important. You see, people or teachers generally confuse between two things. That is, teaching methodologies and teaching strategies. You see, methodologies can be only two. Either they will be teacher-based, teacher-centric, or student-centric. That means, if the teacher likes to just sit on a chair, generally in our times it used to happen, language teachers, even science and maths also don't mind about the particular subject. Okay, you start, read it, paragraph number 1. Okay, sit down. Now next, now next. So that type of was comfortable to the teacher. But the lesson instruction should be in such a way that it should be, the learning should be active. Teaching may or may not be active. Say, for example, you are not feeling well on a particular day. You can convert your lesson into a videograph. Also, video is being, like in the recent past, the Central Board of Secondary Education has introduced what you call ASL, Assessment of Speaking and Listening, which means first they have to listen, they have to read, and then they have to speak. That type of assessment can be also there, but it has to be, in the last I have written, the instruction must be student-centric. It should take care of the interest of the students and not the teachers. If from the point of view of teachers, we say, it will not be comfortable with the students. But if it is, yes, certainly the teachers will also not be comfortable if the instruction mode is student centric. But we are not here for the picnic or the luxury. We are here to deliver the lesson, and for that we have to take pains. So it, all the instruction must always be student centric, in the interest of the students. Now the instruction mode, the teacher should be well versed with not only the teaching methodologies, that is what I told you earlier, the teaching strategies. There are a number of teaching strategies. A few slides ahead we will be coming down to that also. What exactly are their teaching strategies? And if anybody is interested, certainly we are going to do that also in future. What are the instructional, rather teaching strategies? Now then, this next slide gives you a broad idea of what exactly are the strategies. You see, in the lower classes, navigation, role playing, storytelling. These are the basic ones which we utilize for up to from 5 to 8-year-old children. 8-year-old means the child might be in 3rd or 4th class. But now, as Dr. Jayalakshmi rectified me a few days back, that storytelling has come up to class 11 also, class 12 also, senior secondary and secondary also, which means that this classification, what I have done is not rather very much hard bounded. It is not having very strict boundaries. You can encroach upon other ones. The storytelling can be utilized for the person, for the student up to 13 years. Demonstration can take place in a class 2nd student also. How to blow a balloon. If you take up that, then certainly it can be done in lower classes also. Then field trips, interviews, discovery and flip teaching. Of late, not only during pandemic, even before that also, flip teaching has been, I will be just giving you a very short example of what explanation of what flip teaching is. Although all learned people are there and they might be utilizing this particular thing, flip teaching is basically the traditional teaching insists on the teacher is teaching in the class, students are listening or observing the student from different point of views, using those teaching aids, and then they are given homework to revise. Now in flip teaching, everything reverses. In flip teaching, we show the students a clip of nearly 3 or 4 minutes. Then the students are asked to raise the questions regarding that particular, find out, research themselves what exactly is. For example, osmosis. I will show them a video of using parchment paper also, using goat's bladder also. And then we ask the question, or the students ask the question. As a student, I can also, in this case, it is the student, they ask the questions. Madam, why this is, what this is, how this is, and this is called flip teaching. This is very much useful, I will say. This flip teaching is very much useful when a student asks something to a person or to a teacher who is not the subject teacher. Which means, if I am sick, what I do is, I will record a video and send it to the school, the coordinator or the principal, whosoever it is. They will show this video in the class, and then the reverse teaching starts, which means the students start asking the questions. If this is clear, then we move on to the next one. That is, the second last part is a reflection. Reflection is a very critical process for evaluating the success of the lesson. How much effective my instruction was. for supporting the growth and development as a professional also, unless and until you reflect. In general terms, we call it feedback. If you ask the students, how was my lesson? They will all say, yes, ma'am, very good, ma'am, very good, sir. Understood everything? Yes, sir. Very good, sir. But that is not the case. That is not exactly what has happened in this in the class. If you get the feedback for this particular session, most of you will also be writing that the technological errors were there, screen sharing was not proper, recording was also not proper, or sharing was also not proper, a number of things. And one must not take it very offensively. It should be taken in the right spirit. Yes, this was a flaw in my delivery, and next time when I deliver the lesson, it should be taken care of there, so that these shortcomings should not be there in the next delivery. So means reflection is something to measure the effectiveness of the lesson plan, whether my delivery was up to up to mark. And then if there was something, when you get a negative thing, when you get negativity, or not negativity exactly, but negative points, कि सर आपकी स्पीच अच्छी नहीं थी, या आप हमेशा इंग्लिश में ही बोल रहे थे, वो समझ में नहीं आया, anything under that. So next time you delete that particular part from your delivery, or something somebody says कि instead of English and Hindi, instead of English, right in the beginning also I heard that few people are from South India. They will never be able to understand pure English. Oh, sorry, Hindi. Similarly, from certain areas where pure Hindi will not be able to, pure English will not be able to. And I have seen there is one lady from as a vice principal from Kanyakumari also in this group attending this session from Madurai. She has made lesson plans in Tamil or some language. I believe so. Miss Lakshmi Kala is there. Yes, she is there. So she told me she has been preparing lesson plan for last 12 years, but only in the native language. So that doesn't make any difference, but the components remain same. Next is after reflection, when we go, is what it is and how to reflect. That is analyze whether the roadmap which you made right in the beginning was perfect or not. If it was perfect, fine. If it was not perfect, what was the flaw? Where I failed to deliver correctly? The best tool to reflect is testing. And I tell you, people must not take very lightly this Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy can be taken care of or should be considered while you are making question paper, you are delivering a lesson, you are assessing. In the assessment also, Bloom taxonomy should be kept right at the top. And then you will be able to understand what exactly is to be done in the education with Bloom's taxonomy. That gives you a complete or clear picture of what are the needs of the learners right from the beginning till the end. Because not every learner is a smart learner. They have got different types of learnings. Means their learning styles are also different. And if their learning styles are different, then your delivery style must include all those factors which we say will be able to deliver to 100% content of the person. That means participants. Right? The next part is questions that should be considered while reflecting. What aspects were implemented differently than you planned? There were certain things that, just like today's session also, I never expected the electricity to go off, because in UP, in Ghaziabad, where from I am delivering this session, this is in Western UP, and we have not been getting continuous electricity supply for last 4 days. Even the inverter battery is down to 10%. If the light goes just now, it will be continuing for not more than 5 to 10 minutes. After that, everything is finished. So my delivery was hampered. So this thing I have to take care in future, that yes, this thing should not happen in future. Now, second thing during the reflection, next thing is, what are the different things which I did today, but it will be understandable by the people completely if I do this, if I perform this action in a different way. अगर मैं इसी तरीके से को इसी चीज को अलग तरीके से करूं तो क्या होना चाहिए, क्या रिजल्ट आएगा, whether it will be better or if it will not be better. और अगर है बेटर तो क्यों करना चाहिए, बेटरमेंट के लिए हो सकता है कि बेटरमेंट मैं करूं, but it may not be fruitful for all the people. Some people may understand, some people may still not understand. I believe so everybody has understood up to this point. Now this is up to me, that I will be able to understand the next thing will be done. The next delivery should be done in such a way that all these drawbacks which I have noticed, like recording part was told by somebody, then light part was shown by somebody. In my gallery also, on my mobile, I am seeing this session is going to end within 10 minutes. I will end it now here, but still you can see this last slide whenever and wherever you have any problem. You see, this session was not very smooth, but still, if you have got any questions regarding this session, you can give me a call tomorrow morning between 10 to 12, anytime. Any duration of call, I will certainly accept that. And if there is Dr. I believe so, Dr. Jay Lakshmi is not there. Dr. Jay Lakshmi is there. Dr. Jay Lakshmi is there. So Dr. Jay Lakshmi.
Yes, sir, I'm here, sir.
I will be ending this session. I will be inviting the questions from the participants. If they want to ask anybody, still we have got 8 minutes. So there is not any problem. Yes, Shruti ji. You can unmute.
Yes, I had a couple of questions. Yeah, I have a couple of questions, sir. First of all, you said that the goals should be smart. Rather, you said smartable. I could not understand the difference between measurable and evaluable.
Madam, measurable and evaluable are more or less same thing.
They're one and the same.
Yeah, that is same thing, but for the purpose of understanding, it has been smarter. Every word has been explained so that everybody, if somebody is not able to understand one subject, one explanation, then secondly, he will be coming down to the next meaning. What? Yes, evaluable, fine. It should be evaluated. Clear to you, ma'am?
Okay. Not exactly, sir, because I do not find any difference between measurable and evaluable. But okay. So another thing was that as per the new change, in the year 2001, Bloom's taxonomy has been revised.
Yeah.
So now the stress is more on synthesis and less on evaluation, right?
That's right. That's right. You're right.
So yeah. So when we are doing that, usually we believe in earlier we used to think that critical thinking was the utmost important thing.
That's right.
And nowadays it is creativity, sir. So if I want to for every lesson plan or for every chapter, I cannot make my children create something, right? Because I'm a chemistry teacher. So every time I cannot expect them to make a model or write an essay or something like that.
Yeah.
So in that case, if I want to evaluate my students in the exam, in a pen paper test, how do I evaluate them? What kind of creative questions can I add? in my
Madam,
lesson plan.
Madam, I am also a man of chemistry. And this
Oh,
is
that's
very,
great, sir.
yeah, and this is very right question. In other subjects also, this can be implemented. Manuja ji, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Ha. So what my submission regarding this is that there you see somebody told me from Punjab in my last session last Saturday. I was concentrating on one particular thing that translation. You know, a word there is for बर्फ के लिए हम लोग different word use करते हैं. Ice भी बर्फ होती है, snow भी बर्फ होती है. अगर मैं आपसे बोलूं कि हिंदी को इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कीजिए, बाहर बर्फ पड़ रही है, and a child of class 6 is standing up and saying कि it is icing outside, is it acceptable or not?
No, it is not acceptable.
Because
It is
we are
snowing.
because we no because we are educated. That is the difference between those people whom we are teaching and we people who consider ourselves to be educated. We have not explained at the basic level what is ice and what is snow. Now, same thing comes to another thing. Same thing comes to other example. Icing on the cake or ice in the fridge. Both are same or not? Certainly not.
Certainly not.
But if a child uses this particular word in that context, then you cannot rubbish. You have to accept his explanation ki yes, there is icing on cake. But as per his understanding, you see what creativity in our times was, today it has been converted synthesis, and then now it has been converted into creativity. That's what you call innovation. Each one of that, अगर आप ध्यान से इस चीज को सोचे, creativity means to create something new. Synthesis means to add a number of components to create something new. And this is what today also we are using the same thing, innovate. Innovate means what? The random mix of different components to see that we are something having new, which is not known to the world. Have you heard any example of solar powered or solar powered this what you call power bank? Power bank की हम लोग चार्जिंग करते हैं तो प्लग में लगा के. Am I right? बोलिए yes or no?
Usually, yes, sir. But yeah,
Usually,
that is a possibility because we have solar cells also, right?
पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं मैडम, अभी दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने अपने स्कूल्स में इनोवेशन एक एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का कोर्स भी डाला है, एंड दे आर प्रिपेयरिंग स्टूडेंट्स फॉर दैट पर्पस आल्सो.
Yeah, but that does not answer my question, what I had asked you, sir.
This is the same thing what I am answering, the synthesis.
So I asked you in a pen paper test, what kind of questions can I add to test the creativity? In a pen paper test, after the, like when you because when we make the question paper, again we have to follow the Bloom's taxonomy, right?
Yes, Bloom's
so like we usually go by 30% of knowledge and understanding questions, 20% of comprehension, 10% of application analysis and things like that. 5% of evaluation and 5% of creation, right? Evaluative questions are also there where children have to think and explore and evaluate a given situation and come to a conclusion. For instance, evaporation. Why is evaporation more or less or whatever? So I was just wondering what kind of creation questions can I add in chemistry for my students in a pen paper test?
Madam, pen paper में creativity नहीं हो सकती है, but you can have their ideas. You can have their ideas on a pen paper test. They can only think, but that will not be time limited. It should not be time bound. In a 40 minutes lesson, you go tomorrow morning in your class and ask them, in absence of sunlight, how the plants grow? How do they conduct photosynthesis?
That would be evaluation, right? Not creativity.
No, creativity you can ask. You just ask them, no. In absence of sunlight, how do plants create or prepare their food? You just ask. On pen and paper test, it cannot be done within 30 minutes or 43 hours. What you are doing is that knowledge and all those components of Bloom's taxonomy along with the creativity. Because for creativity, you should be very much observant. You should be able to observe the things. And then only you will be able to understand the concept, what exactly has happened, and now what changes can be brought to that particular scene. Then creativity will happen. Otherwise, pen and paper test can never give you the ideas of what exactly is.
But don't we give essays as an example of creation?
Madam,
Where the children have to write their own.
that is in the language part, not in
Yeah,
the
so
science,
it
not in the
can-
mathematics. In the mathematics also, there are less than 1 minute is left. I believe so that we have to continue with this. So I will just ask Dr. Jayalakshmi to expand this particular time for 10 more minutes, if it can be.
I don't think that is possible. It cannot be extended to 10 more minutes.
Anybody else who has got any doubts about that, they can call me. They can call
So
me.
that would be better. Maybe I'll ask you and I'll call you later. Thank you, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe so that everybody is satisfied, not satisfied. If you are satisfied, then this is the dead end of our development. So if you have